Hello everyone, True Zero Emissions here. Okay, so let's look at the Roger charger. I figured out how to put links in the description. So in this video, we will have a link to the charger. You can get it, order it directly from Roger through the Telegram. I think it's called Telegram app. I put a link in there to that conversation, which is any questions you have, you ask Roger in that Telegram, and he's happy to answer them. And there's also a lot of people that have the charger there that are happy to answer questions as well. I also have a link to the new bag I ordered. That should be in there. And just briefly, I'll go through how I use the charger, and then I'm also going to make videos later when I ride the scooter. When I ride the scooter again, I'll make more videos on the actual process of using the charger. But right now, I'll just tell you how I use it. So if we're using it at home, it plugs into the 110 outlet. The voltage is auto-sensing, so it knows if we're plugging it into 110 or 220. It loves high voltage, so this charger loves going to the higher voltage, meaning it charges very well there, but it works great with both voltages. So it's auto-sensing, meaning you don't have to turn the switch. We don't have to switch it between 110 and 220, right? So for charging at home at 110, we plug it in. Well, before we plug it in, we put this dial, the amps dial, between all the way counterclockwise and then all the way clockwise. See what those two extremes are, and then go in the middle. Go between the two. That's where we set that. And when that's there, we can go ahead and plug it in, and then we set our voltage. And my understanding is, and please confirm this with Roger before you use the charger, my understanding is I'm setting the voltage at 1 volt above what the battery's at. So if my battery's an 84 volt battery when it's fully charged, I set it at 85 volts for this battery. To see what the voltages of your battery, look at the charger that comes with your scooter, that's made for your scooter or for your personal electric vehicle or micromobility. This has a range, a voltage range of 5 volts up to 140 volts, and the output is up to 15 amps. Now I've read that some people say it's up to 146, but it's at least 140, possibly more. So up to 15 amps. So when I plug in the charger, right? When I plug in the charger with the current set between the two extremes in the middle, the voltage on the other side, there's a display over there on that side. There's a display on top and on the bottom. And that's the displays. The top one is voltage, the bottom one is current or amps. And so I set the voltage to 85 volts for my specific use, and then I turn the current down counterclockwise. I turn it all the way down to the end till it stops. And once the voltage drops down on the charger, I can then plug in the charger cables. I plug it into the charger, and I plug it into the battery. On this battery, it has new safety ports. This is the Wolf King GTR. They put a new safety plugs in there. See that plug? It doesn't just have 3 metal prongs sticking up that can short out together if water gets in there or something falls in there. Look at this. This is very safe. And my friend Cameron was always talking about that, how dangerous that was, because Cameron reads a lot on the scooters, and people were having a lot of accidents with the other plugs, with things, with water getting in there, or with something falls in there, a piece of metal or a tool can drop, or a screw. It would like basically explode. Boom, a big explosion of spark where it just vaporizes the metal, right? So so it's very dangerous, and always wear safety glasses when you're working around electricity. I would recommend wearing safety glasses even if you're just plugging your charger in. I always wear safety glasses at all times, and I use 3M safety glasses. See where it says 3M right there? Let's see if I can show you. See that 3M on the side? Now what's the difference? I didn't think there was a difference, and suddenly I realized that I was having trouble with my eyes, getting fatigued after a very short time period of working on things. And someone pointed out to me that they were having the same problem, and they changed glasses. They switched over to 3M, and they no longer had that problem. They no longer had that challenge. So I switched to 3M, and my eyes, I can just keep on going. It's amazing, the difference. Because I couldn't really see the difference, but my eyes were experiencing it. What I mean is, it didn't seem blurry or foggy looking through those other glasses. But there is a difference, and you know what? 3M knows it too. Because otherwise there wouldn't be a difference, and there is a difference. So I recommend using 3M glasses. There's a lot of different companies that make good glasses. I just stick with 3M because I just know the name. I just know everything they make is going to be the absolute best they can make. And I also use their crystalline tint, which blocks infrared light. That's the one that makes the heat. Imagine having dark tint on your car and it still gets real hot inside. Just because the tint's dark doesn't mean you're blocking that heat. Infrared waves come right through the window. So you can have dark tint and still get real hot in the car. You ever notice that? Or you could have a light tint and almost no heat gets in the car. That's crystalline tint. It costs more, but it's worth it. So does it really cost more? Look at all the people getting cancer on their arm when they put their arm up and it's burning their skin, and this one arm will get cancer, skin cancer on it. A lot of people get that. I think the doctor's bill would be much more expensive than buying crystalline tint for your car, and you don't have to get dark tint. They have clear tint, and it still blocks the infrared. It blocks like a really high percentage of it. I think like 99% or 98%, something like that. Really, really high amount. They have demonstrations in the showrooms usually, where it shows you with the infrared lamp that causes heat. You put that tint there, you don't feel any heat, and then you put a different tint there, and you feel all the heat. It's like, how did that happen? So that's 3M. Okay, so back to the charger. So, I totally lost my train of thought there. I apologize for that. I didn't lose my train of thought. I just went off on a tangent. So where were we? Plug the charger in. So once we turn the current down counterclockwise, we plug the charger in, and when the charger's plugged in, we can then start adding current where you want it to be. So turning the current to 2 amps, 1.5 amps, 4 amps, whatever that may be. This scooter came with two 2-amp chargers, so that's 4 amps, right? But in the user manual, it says if I use two 5-amp chargers, which is 10 amps, I can charge in 3.5 hours. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using this charger to charge at 10 amps because I couldn't find the charger for this scooter yet. It wasn't available. This scooter came out so fast, the chargers weren't even ready yet. And they don't have a seat for it yet. I want to get a seat for this, and there's no seat. I hope that seat comes out soon. Come on, Cabo, bring us the seat. I could always have one made, but I want to see what Cabo comes out with. But anyone that does fabrication with metal and works with TIG and MIG welding with inert gases and things like that, like argon and stuff, and I don't know all the how to make the perfect strong weld, but I know welders that are very good at that, and they can make things. So if I want to get a seat made for this, that's an option. Okay, everyone, so I'll put links to the charger on how to use it. Now, something that's important, now no one told me this, but I'm just going to say it. I see no reason to ever touch that voltage dial once the voltage is set. Once the voltage is set, there's no reason to touch that. Do not touch that again. The charger does the work. The only thing we touch is the current. Okay? Now, if for any reason the wires are getting hot or the battery's getting hot, I would stop charging immediately, because this battery, the cables, and everything stays room temperature when I'm charging. That's an indicator to me that everything's going well. Okay, everyone, see you in the next video. Oh, I was going to say something else about level 2 charging. Okay, so that's home charging. So now I haven't done level 2 charging yet with this charger, but I have the plug adapter coming from Alien Rides. He calls it the world's smallest plug adapter, I think, the J1772 to 515, which is 515 is our plugs that we have here, 110, right? And then the J1772 is the level 2 charging, right, that goes into the car, electric vehicles, right? So that adapter will let me plug my charger into the level 2 charging station, and the level 2 charging station will recognize that I am plugged into it to charge something, and that will be the scooter. So I'll be charging the scooter. Now, even though I'm plugged into a really high-powered charging station, I can choose how much power I use right here. And this has limits. This only goes up to 15 amps, and it only goes up to 140 volts approximately. So it's 5 volts to 140 volts and up to 15 amps. And those are both adjusted here. Now, for those of you that get your chargers with the dials off of them and you got to put them on, make sure you pop the... I was watching a video just now. Roger was showing people that there's a cap that pops off here on both of these, I think, if I recall correctly. The tip comes off, and there's a screw that has to be tightened in there. If that screw's not tightened, this thing will fall off, right? But we never want to over-tighten things, so that's just a snug tight. Snug means when it stops, that's it. Don't keep forcing. It's very important with scooters. We don't want to strip, it's called stripping the screws. There's no reason to ever strip a screw. We don't want to strip the screws out. So we just go until it stops, and then you can go a little bit more if you want to, but you don't have to. And I also use Loctite. And be very careful if you're using Loctite. Most people use the blue Loctite, and on certain places I'll use the red. So here's the blue, but always know if using the red, I'm using gel. I like the gel. I was taught by a machinist to use the gel. And if you're using red, just know that you may have to use the heat gun. That's why it's right there on standby. See that heat gun? It's an 1800 watt heat gun. I bought that on Amazon, and that allows me to get the screws back out once I've put a screw in, because that heat will let the it'll let the Loctite loosen, because the Loctite's like almost like a glue, right? And it just becomes like cement almost, right? But the blue one is not as strong. The blue one allows you to still take the screw out, but it doesn't let the screw fall out so easily. So if screws are vibrating loose, you can use the blue Loctite just a little bit, rub a little bit of that on the threads there, and I was taught to wipe it off with your fingers. So there's just a little bit on there, because we don't want to put too much on. If we put too much on, it may not dry correctly. Okay, everyone, see you in the next video.